And I want to share Stephen A's thoughts about this. Let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all get the likes up. Do we need to go to a Teach commercial? I will hit the button for the Teach right now if y'all don't get the likes up. Let's continue.
I never enjoy this kind of stuff, but I have no choice. Paul Pierce, former NBA champion with the Boston Celtics, nicknamed The Truth. Could absolutely ball, Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. And person I happen to think is a really decent dude.
Stephen A need to work on getting his audio together. His audio is too low, man, but we're going to work with it. We're going to see what we can do with it.
He joined his former teammate Kevin Garnett on their on Kevin Garnett's Ticket and the Truth podcast, which was streaming Game 3 of the NBA Finals this past Wednesday night. Things started to go off the rails quickly because fans noticed that Paul Pierce was apparently drunk, or at least his behavior
and high
seemed to be that of an individual who was drunk, slurring his speech and all of this other stuff. This is what they were saying. Observers of the live stream noticed a woman sitting partially out of frame to Pierce's right. Eventually, he introduced her to Garnett as Camille, and then told everyone that they met through, quote, a website where you can hire girlfriends for you.
Yo, GM, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. It still sounds silly to me to think that these dudes is hiring girlfriends from websites. Ain't they supposed to be high-value men?
Day. According to reports, Pierce's behavior got even wilder. For a solid minute, Garnett struggled to share his game analysis because Pierce demanded the camera zoom in on him so he could show everyone his diamond watch. He then started to worry about a bet he placed on Miami before getting his phone out of his pocket and saying, quote, let's call some girls up, y'all. Let's call some.
He bet on Miami and he lost that bet. On top of it, he bet on Miami and he lost.
Work. At that point, the stream abruptly went offline for a few minutes. By mid-game, Pierce became combative. He produced a cigar, chewed on it for a bit, and then asked if he could light it up inside, which ended with Pierce getting nailed in the face by a lighter thrown by someone from off camera. That set him off and had him ready to fight until Garnett calmed him down. For those of you...
If Paul Pierce had got beat up on camera, I would have had a field day with that.
Who don't remember, he used to be my colleague at ESPN.
Yep.
Until 2017.
And got let go.
Before we go any further, if you don't believe what I'm saying, check out at least some of this for yourself.
Throw a wall in here and turn it up, you know what I'm saying?
Kevin.
Hey, how you doing?
Camille,
nice to meet you. That's Formula One everywhere, ain't it? Formula One
so
everywhere.
This is my girlfriend for the day. They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.
Stop, man.
And so I got a girlfriend for the day.
Stop, man. Stop.
You can hire girlfriends for the day.
Stop, man.
I went on the website and I hired a girlfriend
right
for the day.
Look, Collins. There go Collins. Look at D. Wade at the game.
Y'all might find it funny.
That's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I don't.
It's hilarious.
I find it kind of sad, to be quite honest with you.
And sad and hilarious.
You're a champion.
A loser.
You know the game of basketball. Let me tell you something about Kevin Garnett. He's serious as a heart attack. That brother takes all his work serious. He don't joke around. He don't mess around. He don't take shortcuts with any.
I don't know. Paul Pierce almost outed him for hanging out with Paul Pierce last night and getting caught up with some hoes.
Thing he does. But that's his brother, his teammate, his friend, and he ain't gonna say much on camera. I'd love to know what he said to him off camera. Because Kevin Garnett ain't one to tolerate that kind of nonsense.
Hoes.
And it was indicative. The behavior that I'm talking about was at least somewhat indicative
hoes
of what got Paul Pierce in trouble with ESPN. If you remember, ESPN hired Pierce in a full-time role in 2017 after he made appearances on his basketball program in a guest role and was a commentator on ESPN's NBA Countdown and The Jump. But he was let go in 2021 after he went live on Instagram.
Yep, I just talked about it.
A room full of dancers while smoking, drinking, and apparently playing poker. You would think that after what Paul Pierce went through in 2021, it's something that he would like and prefer people to forget about. Because he clearly seemed a bit inebriated, and he had the dancers in his own home.
While being a public
we
figure.
Won't get into his family affairs. That's his business. But Paul Pierce actually went on the I Am Athlete podcast about a month ago with Brandon Marshall and the crew. And listen to him talking about working at ESPN. Check this out.
Fired for what?
On your day off. Friday on their ass. That nigga for what? You know what you were doing.
Shorty did look thick too. I'm like, okay, if you gonna get fired, go out like that, though.
I got fired for having some entertainment.
Right.
I'm playing cards. It's my boy's birthday. It's girls dancing, and we blowing some tree. Yeah. I mean, what did I do wrong?
That's what.
You did everything wrong. And this is why I say on a regular basis, just because you have money or resources, and Shaq explained it perfectly. He said, listen, it's not just about whether or not you did something illegal. It's about whether or not you're protecting the brand that you're representing as an employee. If you want to do what you want to do, then do it on your own. But don't do it while also being on camera and representing this brand that we then have to sell over to sponsors. And the fact that he's still, even now, in 2023, having a conversation talking about whether or not he did anything wrong. Hey, let me ask this question first. Why is it that everything that y'all do, because this ain't even somebody that caught him and nuked him on that type of level. This is self-inflicted. Meaning that the thing that he's getting in trouble for, or the thing that he's experiencing right now, is based off of the idea that they put their own cameras on. Why are y'all going live on Instagram doing stuff that you know could possibly mess up your bag that you got going on and your future bags and your future opportunities with ESPN and any other person that you would advertise with? If Shaq is smoking, or if Shaq is out here doing a rent-a-chick or whatever like that, you're not seeing him go live with it. Shaq be doing all kind of commercials. Being gay, the general, back hurting, whatever. You don't see Kenny Smith doing that. You don't see Charles Barkley doing it. They all getting their bags. They not missing out on one bag. Why are y'all going live? For what? You're not even making no money from it. Why are you going live on something that don't add value to what it is that you got going on? Fools, just whole fools.
What it was though, it looked like, hey yo, I'm saying, what it looked like, B? Man, it looked like an orgy, like a.
Nah, dog,
Did you have your
come
shirt
on.
off?
Huh?
You had your shirt
No,
off?
I didn't. I didn't have
had
my
a
shirt on. I had my shirt on.
Bro, you was
You
having a
was
good
playing
time.
I was
cards.
playing
You had a
cards.
blended,
We
just
was
some
playing-
girls around him. I mean,
we
yeah,
was
what
playing
That was it?
poker.
Who
Yeah.
recorded it though? Like somebody?
I did.
Dummy.
Oh, he was Ja Morant.
Dummy.
Well, she was on either live.
No,
can't
look,
believe he's doing what
I'm turned up. I'm on live, like.
Yeah, he on live going crazy.
Oh yeah, what's up, y'all? We out here.
He licked his lips
Stupid.
and all
Oh,
that.
but look, I'm getting a haircut too. I'm getting a cut.
It's cracking.
It's popping. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. I don't know. I don't never go live either. I was just feeling my cut or something. I was like, then it was popping behind me. It was like,
Had the joints over there.
hey,
and
dog,
everything.
come on. Hey, I mean, but look.
And ain't none of the people in the room had the wherewithal to say, hey, fam, because even if it's me, like, I don't even want to be on camera. Hey, bro, I'm about to get out of here, bro. I can't be on no live. Hey, fam, it's not a good look for us, bro. Bro, that's not a good look for you right there, bro. Hey, man, look, bro, let's just keep it G. We made the girls give up their phones when they came in and they had to sign non-disclosure agreements. Why the hell we going live? Ain't nobody got no good sense. Nobody got no good sense as to, listen, it's one thing to have a rumor, but it's another thing to prove it true with your own self-inflicted wound. Ain't that how Ja Morant just got finessed out? Ain't that how Ja Morant just fumbled the bag? And Paul Pierce doing the same thing as a 50-year-old, 40-something 50-year-old.
The hood was feeling me.
The hood was feeling me.
Can we hear that? I gotta hear. Can we hear the call?
Yeah, the call. Yeah,
like
what they say. Like,
ring, ring, ring.
No, so they hit me, and there's a higher up. It was a lady. I'm like, hello? She's like, yeah, we're doing, an investigation. I'm like, could you tell us what happened? And I'm like, you didn't see it? Like, I mean, I was just.
You saw that ass, baby?
I was just hanging out, playing cards. It wasn't my house. I mean, it was self-explanatory. You know what I'm saying? Some girls dancing, and I was, I had some OG. I mean,
and in LA, it's legal.
Yeah, it's legal.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing.
Idiots. Everybody in the room is an idiot. Ain't nobody in the room gonna tell them the truth. Nobody in the room is gonna tell them the truth. Hey, fam, you fumbled the bag. You shouldn't even have been in that type of space in the first place.
Illegal. But at the end of the day, it's Disney.
Oh, it's Disney. That's right.
And so they was like, they have a morals clause, and it was just
same thing that Shaq just said with the NBA. All of these companies, when you sign a contract, they have a morality clause, including the companies that you guys work with. So don't act like a victim when you then have this self-inflicted wound that you then get fired from. You know what you're getting yourself into when you get into it.
It was immoral.
That's the bullshit that irritates the living hell out of me. I got mad respect for Paul Pierce, and I got mad love for the three brothers he was talking to, and I'm not even sure that was a month ago, because I know LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy, works for FS1, and I'm not sure that interview actually was a month ago. For some reason, it propped up and somebody brought it to my attention. It was the first time I'd ever seen it, and I felt the need to address it. I'm gonna tell you why I felt the need to address it. Because Brandon Marshall, Deshaun Jackson, another one of my brothers, and Shady McCoy, another one of my brothers, all know there's certain stuff that you just can't do.
Facts. No, we know.
You working in corporate.
It ain't just them. We all know that it's certain things that you can't do. It's certain things that you just cannot do. There's no way I can turn up the volume anymore. This is Stephen A. Smith's video. His editors had the video super low. So there's nothing that we can do about that. We just got to eat this.
America. Damn sure not when you working for Disney. Paul Pierce, don't act like you didn't know what the morals clause is.
Facts.
You look like you had a bunch of strippers in your house, like you had some weed going on everywhere and alcohol and all of this other stuff. You don't represent Disney that way.
Facts.
And here's the whole point that really pisses me off. The fact of the matter is, don't bring up the hood. We all from it. And the fact of the matter is that when you out in the hood, you doing stuff in front of your house in the streets or whatever the case may be. You ain't broadcasting it and streaming live over Instagram. There's a difference. There's a difference. What you mean, I was in my house, I was chilling in my house. It's self-explanatory. What was self-explanatory is that you went viral with it while you were working with somebody else. You don't know the importance of projecting images? I didn't see you doing that when you were playing. You knew you were representing the Boston Celtics.
Ain't he telling the truth? He's telling, listen. The goal is to get away from the hood, not to embrace what it is that the hood is a representation of. The goal is to divest ourselves from it so that we can protect our bags and make as much money as possible and then take care of our families.
You didn't do it then. See, this is the problem. And this is where we cost ourselves as a community when we let stuff like this slide.
Paul Pierce in that picture right there just looks sad. He looks like a sad old man, still trying to figure out where it is that he fits in society, and that's why he wearing bust-down watches, talking about look at my chain, and buying rent-a-girlfriends on Instagram.
And I'm speaking out of love, because I love all of those brothers. And I know they were vibing with Paul Pierce, and you laughing, and you clapping, and all of that other stuff. Deshaun Jackson, no, baby, he wouldn't do something like that. Brandon Marshall's a businessman. highly intelligent.
He 100% right.
With a
Stephen
lot
A.
of
is on
with a
it.
lot of aspirations.
He's on it 100%.
He wouldn't do that. Shady McCoy is smart as hell. And that man is about his business. He wouldn't do that. Then what's so damn funny?
Because ain't nobody holding nobody accountable.
See, somebody got to tell Paul Pierce.
Nobody's going to tell him.
You're a champion, bro. You're a champion. No, you didn't break any laws. It's not.
But this just shows you that you don't have no real friends. They going to laugh at you. And they going to get it as content when you jump on their platform in order to continue to get their views up. They not going to do the same behavior as you. They going to laugh at you. They going to get their content. And those are not your friends. You think you cool because y'all all giggling and hee and on. And while you fumbling the bag, they making the bag off of the fact that you out there looking like a fool. And then you tried to fumble KG's bag on top of that and fumble his family.
Not about the laws when it's in the private sector. The private sector has their own laws. There's certain things you can't do in the NBA. There's certain things you can't do in the NFL. There's certain things you can't do in Major League Baseball. There's certain things you can't do at Disney. Just like you can't do it at Fox. You know that. You know that. What kind of advice would y'all give to Ja Morant?
Facts. Thank you.
Got 5 years and $231 million coming to him. The whole gun toting thing didn't break any laws. Carrying firearms is legal in many, many states. You don't even need a permit. You don't need it in Tennessee. You don't need it in Alabama. You don't need it in various states throughout this country. So he didn't break any laws. But you know what he did break? He did break rules and regulations of the NBA, which is why the suspension is pending. What advice are you in a position to give them?
And you can't listen to these OGs no more. You can't listen to the OGs no more because they're just as bad, if not worse, than you. They're just as bad and if not worse than you. So if the young dudes can't even look to the OGs in order to get inside information on how it is that they need to be moving a little bit differently and securing the bag, who do they have to turn to? They don't have nobody to look up to. Everybody that's down beneath them, that's around them, is hanger-ons because they just trying to eat and make sure that they get a little bit of visibility and that they stay on the payroll. You got nobody around you that's actually looking out for you. Your mama is calling Ja Morant over into the mall with the goons because the Foot Locker dude offended her somehow. Paul Pierce is out here fumbling the bag. Zion Williamson is out here fumbling the bag. Ja Morant out here fumbling the bag. Who can you look to? And this is a cultural thing. This is a community thing. This is the same thing that most of these dudes would do if they was in the same position and got money. And you know the same thing that I hear every single day online? Well, it ain't illegal. They think just like you.
I'm Stephen A. I got the airwaves available to me. I'm not a champion, Paul Pierce. I'm not an elite football player, Shady, Brandon, Deshaun. And I ain't blaming y'all three. Y'all are something special. But with special talents comes special responsibility. Paul Pierce is a champion, highly knowledgeable about the game of basketball, talks major smack about what cats should and shouldn't be doing, is qualified to do it, and has a resume and credentials that'll back it up. Do you know what Paul Pierce could bring to the sport of basketball? But we see him on Kevin Garnett's podcast, and I love that podcast. And I love what KG is doing.
Shout out to Saul. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly along with all of the other super chats.
So ain't nobody throwing no shade in that direction. What I am saying is their voices are powerful. They're profound. They can do a lot of great things. And I know KG is going to. Ain't nobody throwing no shade on him here. You, Paul Pierce, what you doing, bro?
If anybody was smart that had Paul Pierce as in a friendship group, I don't care if you won a championship with him. I don't care if you KG or whatever. Y'all need to stop keeping it real. Stop keeping it real. If anybody has Paul Pierce as a friend, Paul Pierce, in my opinion, looked like he's going through a buzzsaw. It looks like he's going into a space to where there will be no vindication. There will be no flowers at the end of it. There will be nothing but gnashing of the teeth, issues, problems, and hopefully not a Me Too. Nothing good is going to come from Paul Pierce, but Paul Pierce has to hit his version of a rock bottom to come out of that shit. Because right now, everybody needs to just distance themselves from him in order to not fumble their bag. Don't fumble your bag trying to prevent him from fumbling his bag, but he don't give a fuck about his bag. He looked like a person that has no identity, no purpose in life. And after basketball, that was the end of the conversation. And now he's just doing whatever it takes in order to survive, to make himself feel good in the moment, looking like a fool.
That's how you want to be seen. You want the image of you being you with a drink in your hand and surrounded by strippers or pulling out your phone or, summon women that you pay for with alcohol or weed or something always around you.
Tricking.
With slurred speech. And what you trying to be? That's the imagery you want? That's what you want, bro? For yourself? That's how you want us to see you, this champion who is an elite player and closer? That's the imagery you want us to have for you?
Yep.
Please stop. You mean too much to the game of basketball, bro. You mean too much to the game of basketball.
It's over. I don't even know why Stephen A. is even having this conversation. Nobody can help Paul Pierce but Paul Pierce. Nobody can save him from himself. Nobody can make him do right. Nobody in his inner circle is obviously telling him the truth while he called himself the truth. It's over. It's just over for Paul Pierce. That's all I see for him.